So today we're learning about Tomé Hill. Tomé Hill is a monument about 25 miles south of Albuquerque, or about a 34-minute drive south of Albuquerque. So Tomé Hill is about 400 feet above the valley floor, and on top of it are three 18-foot crosses, and it's a popular pilgrimage site since it was built and dedicated in 1948. This monument was dedicated to all the men from Tomé who were drafted during World War II, but it's mostly dedicated to the 16 who didn't come back. So the man who built this monument or had it built was a guy named Edwin Berry. He got drafted to World War II, him along with a lot of other people in their community of Tomé. Well, out of all those people who got drafted, 16 of them got killed over there and didn't make it home. So there was this man named Edwin Berry. Him, all three of his brothers, and a handful of other men from the town of Tomé got drafted to go fight during World War II. Well, when it was all said and done, Edwin Berry made it home, but 16 of the men from the town of Tomé didn't make it home. One of these men were his brothers. So after surviving all the horrors of World War II and making it back alive, he was so grateful that he made a promise to honor those who fought and those who didn't make it back. So in 1947, Edwin Berry, along with the help of other people in the community, started building the monument on top of El Cerro de Tomé, or Tomé Hill. Materials had to be carried all the way to the top of the hill, some by mules, other by people. The children would carry buckets of sand, water, and cement up the hill. The men were building, and the women would feed the men that were building. So the whole community helped out in that way to build this monument. So back in that day, the monument costed about $400 to build, and in today's money, that would be about $4,000. So the monument was completed and dedicated on the Good Friday of 1948. So the three crosses that are placed on the top of the hill are placed with precision and significance. So the cross in the middle faces to the valley and points towards the Immaculate Conception Catholic Church. Now I'm going to tell the history of this church in the future because it's a long story. But this middle cross, it's clad in a silver sheet metal, and it represents the cross that Jesus died on. The other two crosses represent the thieves who were crucified with Jesus. So the cross to the right of Jesus is facing, and it's facing towards the cross of Jesus, and that's supposed to be Demas, the good thief, and it's supposed to signify his acceptance of Christ. Now the left cross is supposed to be the bad thief, and his name was Gestas, and it's faced away from the cross, signifying that he had turned away from Christ. So when Edwin Berry first set out to build this monument, he had three reasons. I'm going to read his reasons off of this because it's quote unquote, he wrote this himself. So his reasons were: 1, to build a true Christian monument atop this mount. 2, to bring happiness, faith, hope, and peace to all people of good will. And 3, to commemorate our fallen heroes, the boys who gave their lives in the war. Then it also says that he later added a fourth goal. It would be a monument to religious freedom and tolerance, according to a September 17th, 1948 article in the Valencia County News Bulletin. So besides just being a representation of Jesus and how he suffered and died, it's also a monument dedicated to the soldiers who fought in World War II and also the ones who didn't make it home. So ever since the Good Friday of 1948, when they dedicated this monument, they've had a pilgrimage where they walk to this monument. Kind of like the one to the Santuario de Chimayo, where everybody walks every Good Friday. It's like that, but except this one's more closer to Albuquerque. So a lot of people walk from Albuquerque, Las Lunas, Belen, all the surrounding areas, and they pilgrimage to this site. As a matter of fact, it's the second most popular pilgrimage site in New Mexico after the Santuario. So back in the day, there were these people called the penitentes. They were people of the Catholic faith, strong Catholic faith. There was a lot of them in New Mexico. So I was reading this article, and Edwin Berry's son, he's the one who guides the pilgrimage today. He said that the penitentes are the ones who originally started this pilgrimage. Apparently, they would walk up to Tomé Hill and they would have services on the top of the hill. Then when they were done with their services, they would go to their morada and they would pray. Edwin Berry himself did the pilgrimage every Good Friday for almost 50 years until he had a stroke at the age of 96. That was 3 years before he died in the year 2000. So rest in peace, Edwin Berry. And now his family carries on the tradition. Every Good Friday, they pilgrimage to the top. And on the way to the top, they say the old penitente prayers. And they pray all stations of the cross. And they do it the old penitente style. So on their way up the hill, they recite the penitente version. of the Stations of the Cross. Then at the end, they sing God Bless America to honor the men and women of the military. But long before all of this was an area of significance. Tomé Hill is just one of the many volcanic rock formations in the area. And in these rock formations, there's petroglyphs here and there. So these are ancient petroglyphs, prehistoric times. This is evidence that this place has been visited for thousands of years. Historians say that this hill also became important back in the day because it's so high. They would use it for a lookout spot. It was a good vantage point. And they say this was true mostly in the 1700s. They would climb this hill and they would use it to look out because they're watching out for the Comanches. The Comanches were raiding and attacking the area of Belen around this time, and their attacks were vicious. I've made videos about that in the past. So, fun fact, Tomé was named after a dude named Tomé Dominguez Mendoza, who around 1640 was given a large ranch around this area. So the area became known as Tomé, which historians say is unusual because most names were named after last names or family names like Los Lunas, Los Chavez, shit like that. Anyway, the Pueblo Revolt of 1680 chased all the Spanish out, including the people of Tomé. But 12 years later, Don Diego took it back. Then in 1739, the town of Tomé was established through a land grant given by the King of Spain. And the rest is history. Anyway, this is Tragedy. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something new. I'm out.